because you've been here all night and you know me, you know I'm messing around. Guys, we already hit the goal. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's crazy that we got no support on Kick. Actually, it is. I'm shocked that no one came by to chill with me tonight on Kick and support at all. It is shocking, but we're joking. And like, you get the joke.
Okay.
But the morons of the internet don't. It really was. It was a waste of a night. But we're not playing that shit again. That's awful. Our crazy long streak of great support ends tonight with a shitty game. Can we get some last minute support for the stream or no? How about this? If you want an OG badge, hit the goal right now. That's right. 18 subs will get us to the goal. You'll get your OG badge and your VIP badge, $10 discount. I gotta go. I gotta go. So if you're doing it, you gotta do it right now. That angers me, because why are we not hitting the goal tonight? The game. That pisses me off. If we had done something else that was chill, you guys would have liked it and we would have hit the goal, and now I'm angry. Urban style individual.
What's up with y'all? Hopefully this video finds you in good spirits, and if not, well, at least you not DSP. And last night was hilarious for a number of reasons, but primarily to me because you can tell that Phil was trying his best to be on his best behavior. And in light of this whole asmongold situation, Phil understands that there's a higher level of visibility on him. So he's trying his best not to be a creature of habit, but when pushed into a corner, people are going to revert to old ways. It just is what it is. So let's get into it.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Wednesday, the 19th of November, 2025. Well, let me put it this way. It was still a good streaming day. But what I want to say is, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Sometimes you take a chance and something works. Sometimes you take a chance and it doesn't work.
You see what I mean? This is something that he never would have said prior to this whole asmongold situation going on. All of a sudden, sometimes things work and sometimes things don't work. How many times have you heard Phil say something like that? He is really trying, but I'm going to let him continue.
I was the latter, and we'll talk about that right now. So, first off, today, I did not do a podcast because today was a major Pokemon stream. And as you know, we have been doing major Pokemon streams with no podcast, making major progress every time. So it's like 3+ parts into the playthrough. Been working. At this point, I think we're like 34 parts in, but it's like a 40-hour playthrough, something.
It's always funny to me when he's talking about he's going to make major progress in one of these games that he's clearly behind on. When you look up the release date for Pokemon, that game came out over a month ago. So when you talk about making major progress, Phil, no, it's really you just playing catch up, because nobody on the internet, and I mean nobody, is playing that game anymore, Phil. You're so far behind, man.
Something like that. And we're still making solid progress every single time that we play. So what did we do today? Well, today we did a ridiculous amount of side missions. In fact, what I did, I went back to the ones that had kind of been left over, that not completed. And I realized that over time, we actually had completed these. Like, for example, I needed a Metacham. So I was able to I already had one. I was able to go get its evolution stone, and then I was able to do that mission. We had the 5 Flabébés of different colors. We were able to trade that in. So we spent over an hour doing that.
Now go on YouTube once you get done watching this and look up what he said he just did in the game, and tell me if those videos are not 3 weeks, a month old. Seriously. And he's acting like this is news to anybody. Who is this news to? Even the people who are watching you play the game, I'm sure, have already completed it. Phil, your system is not efficient, bro. It's just not.
Okay, then there was a new wild area or two that we went to. We caught a whole bunch of Pokemon. There was a bunch of people today who wanted Pokemon named and everything, and that worked out really well. So overall, today went good with the Pokemon stream. Yes, we absolutely hit and exceeded the goal. And by the end, we had done just a little bit of story. We had to take out 3 more rogue mega evolved Pokemon, which took about an hour to do. It was a big grind, but we got it done. All right.
And by got it done, that means Phil was running into the brick wall endlessly until his skull was eventually able to crack the wall. That's what happened. And a whole lot of crying and a whole lot of begging. Y'all know how it is.
Right. So overall, more great progress, chill fun, hitting the goal. Everything was great. More Pokemon coming up in the next few days or early next week. And it looks like people are saying we're getting close to the end. Like, basically, the story beat we're in right now is going to take us into kind of the end game. So probably 2-3 more streams will at least beat the story. And then actually we'll have to figure out if we want to continue playing the game with more content or not, because we could actually do some end game content, post game content, but it's up to you guys. We'll have to see.
So a game that came out a month ago, he's not going to complete until like the first week of December. But this is the guy that's supposed to be a professional gamer. This is the guy that has the 17, almost quote unquote 18-year legacy. But he's so inefficient. Could you imagine if you went to an oil change place with your car, and a lot of these places tell you they'll get it done in 20 or 30 minutes, right? That's their claim to fame. That's how they get you in. But could you imagine if you went to go get an oil change and they say, okay, come pick your car up in about, 2 months? Would you go there? I mean, come on. Even if it was free, you still wouldn't go there.
Okay. So that was the day stream and went well. Now, the night stream tonight was always a big question mark. Tonight we tried a game called Baby Steps.
What do you mean by question mark? Now we know what he means by question mark. He's talking about if he was going to make money off it or not. But if you look at the game for what it is, it never was a question mark from the entertainment aspect of it.
This is a game that came out 2 months ago. It went virally popular because certain streamers who like to do these kind of meme style games, all right, streamed the game. Baby Steps is a game where you can barely walk, all right? It's hard to control. Each trigger is a foot, and you use the thumbstick to aim the foot. And it reminds me of Getting Over It. It reminds me of Quap back in the day. If you remember, it was the first game like that. It was a flash game where you use the keyboard keys to get this guy to run.
A game like Baby Steps, I'm not saying Phil's wrong here with his assessment in terms of what the game reminds him of. That's his opinion. But this game, I would liken it unto like a goat simulator or something like that. It's something that's just have fun with. A lot of streamers, for them, this represents a bit of a break because most streamers have a niche. Their channel has a niche. They either are doing a genre of games or one particular game. So when something like this catches wind on the internet, they get to play it for a day or two and kind of turn their brains off and take a break. They don't have to be super good at the game and be amazing at it because that expectation is no longer there. They can kind of just let their hair down a little bit. But of course, Phil doesn't understand that.
Very similar to that. The difference is, in this game, you have no idea where to go or what to do. You just got to kind of guess what direction to go. You could end up in the wrong direction, and now you're wasted time. You could go really high up and then slip and fall all the way back down. To be honest, I was shocked because I actually was doing well at the beginning, like the first half hour. I wasn't making many mistakes. I was actually going pretty good with the controls. I was like, wow, I'm doing better than I thought I would. And
Phil, that's how most games are. Because difficulty oftentimes is scaled in video games. So the beginning of the game is going to be much easier than the middle or the end. Oh my goodness.
then I slipped and I had to climb all the way back up after a while. Like, oh man, that sucks. And basically, here's what happened in a nutshell. A lot of people showed up at the very beginning. First half hour, people were enjoying. We actually got like maybe $50 of support in the first half hour. Then after the first half hour, people realized, oh, this is the whole game. Yes.
No, what happened was a good ways through your stream, you started realizing that you were not going to get any more money, and all your fake laughs turned into real complaints. So in the beginning, you were having a great time because the money was coming in at a high clip. But once the time started to outpace the money that you were receiving for your time, all of a sudden your sentiment towards the game started to change. All of a sudden, the same things that were making you laugh before were starting to make you cry, Phil.
Literally, all you're doing is climbing a mountain with 2 feet. There's a little bit of humor in there, some dry humor and silly humor with some of the dialogue, kind of British humor. But at the same time, it's really not enough to save the game or make it that interesting at all. All you're doing is climbing a mountain, all right? So, it is what it is.
Every game that comes out is not trying to get on the best games of the year awards and trying to be innovative and break new ground. Some games are made to just have fun with, Phil. And I know you don't understand that because everything for you is transactional. But when you look at the sentiment towards this game on the internet, a lot of people are, if you look at it for how it's supposed to be viewed, you have fun with it and you move on. It just is what it is. You ain't got to sit here and act like it's supposed to be groundbreaking and the story didn't add anything to it. Nobody was playing that game for the damn story.
It's not that I didn't enjoy the game, but it's a very basic game. And it basically engaged the audience for 30 to 40 minutes. And then I noticed around the 45-minute mark, people started to stop talking. The viewership count went down. And I noticed distinctly we were not getting any support at all. All right. So I kept going. And honestly, after the first hour, I was still interested in the game. The audience was split. They were like 50-50. Half the audience was like, just forget it. Don't play anymore. And some people were like, nah, keep going. I was like, well, we'll see.
The audience was not split. What Phil needs to understand, and I'm sure he does, but he's explaining it as if he doesn't. His audience is more like the House of Representatives. It's not a 1-for-1. If you're a well, your vote carries far more weight. It's like if you was in California or something, or Texas, right? You're going to carry more weight than, say, a Massachusetts or something like that. That's really what's going on. So in his mind, they make up half the audience financially, but it was not half the audience saying stop playing. A lot of people were telling you just finish with it. They were trying to give you advice on what you need to do next, but you had soured your attitude towards it because you were no longer making money. And everybody knew going into this that this wasn't going to be some super deep game RPG where you unlock a bunch of abilities and all that. No, this game is really about your wit. And yes, the physics are going to play against you a little bit, but that's the fun of it, Phil. My God, this guy is allergic to fun. It's crazy.
So I kept going, went to this cool part that had a few animals and stuff that we found. And then basically we got to this part in the last maybe 20-30 minutes where no one was supporting and everyone seemed disengaged, but it felt like we were going to get to a checkpoint. Like the checkpoints are these like big torches. Okay. So, I'm going to get to a checkpoint. There's a really steep mountain in front of it. I start going up. I get almost all the way up to the top. Oh, the guy just slips by himself. It's not like I mistimed my walk. It's not like I made a mistake. He just starts slipping anyway. Oh, that's not happened before. Like he slipped, but usually it's you missed up your timing. You misstepped. You fell off. No, I was walking straight up and he just decided to fall.
But even when you do mess up your timing, which is most of the time, you're still going to say that it's somebody else's fault. And the way you're describing this now, you're acting as if there's a team specifically dedicated to screwing over darksydephil when you play video games. And they're all watching your streams so they know when to press certain buttons at certain times to ensure that they can fuck with you. You sound so ridiculous, man. What happened was you start getting impatient. So when you didn't approach the situation with the same patience as you did before because you were not getting your money. So you were upset. That's what happened.
So what they did is they coded this part of the game where this mountain is slippery. Okay. If you get lucky, you can literally just run up the mountain in one go and make it. But the problem is I did do that and then you don't know where to go. Do you go right? Do you go left? You can't tell. Well, I made the wrong decision, fell down, and you got to start over. Then I tried for like 15 minutes to get back up it, and I couldn't. And I didn't do anything different. I was literally doing it exactly the same. The game just decided, now it's more slippery. You can't climb it now.
Y'all remember back when we was kids and we would go to the park, and when you were a younger kid, going down the slide was plenty. You would do it a million times and you'd be happy. But as you start to get a little bit older, you used to do stuff at the playground that you probably shouldn't have been doing, like running up the slide, right? Which is what he's experiencing right now. And everybody knows when you're trying to run up a slide, you need a lot of momentum to get going because of the incline and the surface is very slick, Phil. That's it. Maybe you didn't do that as a child. I don't know. But for most people looking at that situation, it's very obvious what you need to do.
And what sucked is zero support. So, not kidding, we ended the night at $60. And people were bored to tears. At the end of the stream, I hung out with people for like 10 minutes and I said, I apologize. This is very similar. Last week, we didn't hit the goal. People were bored because Tormented Souls 2 broke.
I apologize that you did not give me money. In what world is this a logical explanation for what happened, Phil? You are all in your feelings because of $90. This doesn't make sense, man. Unless you got a gambling addiction, allegedly.
And we couldn't play anymore, so we just had a shitty night. And tonight, I really feel that's what happened. That basically, this was a situation where the stream was a dud because of the game. It's just not that interesting of a game. It's another game that gets overhyped by a memer streamer, one of these people who has like an audience of teenagers who laugh and scream at everything. It's for an average person, that's not a very good game. It's okay.
Can you substantiate any of these claims? And what exactly is a memer streamer? Are you just making up terminology now? Because I've never heard that before. Because if anybody's a memer streamer, it's you, because you end up in memes all the time. For many of these streamers, like I said before, they have a niche, right? So they're doing the same thing or a similar thing daily. If anything, it's a testament to their personality and how entertaining they are that they're able to make something outside of their niche work. You're the one that's a variety streamer and you can play any game at a high level anytime you want to, and you were unable to make this work.
Okay, for like a half an hour, and you're like, oh, boring. It is. It gets boring. You're like, oh, it's not very good. So I'm not playing it again. I dropped $20 on it tonight. I'm not going to play anymore. People did not like it. I was bored with it. And it sucks. We had such a crazy good streak going. No exaggeration. A week. An entire week we had gone, hitting goals every stream. And then this causes us to lose that momentum. The thing is, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, I want to hit the goal every stream. Obviously, it's not possible. In this case, it was just the game selection. Much like last week, it was literally just because, excuse me, Tormented Souls 2 broke. What are you going to do?
You see how he's the constant contrarian, no matter what the situation, even though what he described is a good scenario. He has hit every single goal on every single stream up until this point. 2 streams a day, always hitting the goals. But his mind is so damn backwards that in his view, this is somehow a bad thing. And then he can go on and talk about how it's not a big deal. If it wasn't a big deal, Phil, you wouldn't even mention it. You give your dents no mental break whatsoever, but you expect them to give you breaks all the time. They sit here day after day watching your terrible gameplay, watching you complain the entire time. But the second you don't get exactly what you want, when you want it, you're going to sit up here and complain even more and expect them to just keep dealing with it. And that's why I say, man, there's no saving the dents, because there's no way somebody can be treating you like this perpetually on a cycle and you just keep coming back to them. And not only are you coming back to them, but you giving them your time and your money, arguably some of the most valuable things that you have in this world outside of your family and things like that, right? It just doesn't make sense. But that's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Urban style content. I'm dead.